Hello friends, hello everyone. It's been a while. Well, see, I'm not really most keen to do these recordings. I'm kind of not really wanting to be that much of an exposed person. However, I do know, and thank you for those of you who sent me emails, sent me messages and begging me to continue. I will continue. I really think it is important to share the information I have, which is just showing the structure, the architecture of what is happening right now. And always it is really, astrology is a wonderful, wonderful tool to have a detached understanding that these are the energies there, that's how they are playing out. So let's look at December 2024, this final month of this dragon year. Yes, it goes still into quite a bit into January till the new moon is in I guess January 29 or something. So actually it's the second last month of the dragon year. The dragon is a powerful animal. It's the ruler of the heavens. So I said it at the beginning, 2024 into the end of January, this is a culmination year. This will bring the big breakthrough, and we're just on the verge of really getting there. Now, we are setting the stage. That is what's happening right now. The last week, the first week of December, or last 12 days I should say, have really been building the stage, and I want to give you the details on what that means, what energies have been activated. So bear with me, I will do a couple actually introductory ones, because this is a huge month. We are building the stage for what is to happen between, let's say, the last week of January and February 23rd. That's really the core period of shift and change, and of really when things will go off the chart, literally everywhere. We're building up to that. We're building the framework now, the structure which will allow for that huge shift to kick in. And tomorrow's full moon, or actually it's not quite tomorrow, it's just 3 days away still, is the culmination of this energy, naturally, as always full moons are. Now I just want to show you one thing first, and look at the position of the sun here at full moon 2352 naturally, the moon and earth here. And if we go back to this chart, and I'm just telling you in a minute what this chart really means, but here you see the moon at 2352 Sag, exactly the position it is in on full moon. So this in itself shows you that this moment here I'm depicting is super important for the build up of the energies. That is when Jupiter retrograde crossed the 17-degree Gemini mark, which is the end, if we go in the forward direction, of hexagram 35. Here I'm quickly showing you the overlay. This is based on the human designs transmissions. This is hexagram 35, which is progress, change. So Jupiter has crossed from 45 into 35 on the 2nd of December. Now let me build this story. This is really critical to understand. This is a screenshot of the human design grid, how the planetary energies of December, I mean this is from December 5 as you see, but this is valid for the whole month of December, way into April 2025, what I'm showing you here, which is this channel here, 35, 36. So 35, that's Jupiter. Jupiter is now activating this line till the end of its stay in this hexagram, which is into April the 7th. So that is a long period. And on the other side, we have 36. Neptune is in here, so we have Neptune and Jupiter activating this channel. This is the emotional center. That means for everyone on the whole planet, these two centers are activated, defined, accessible are these energies. And that is crisis, bringing change, through crisis to change. And I mean, I cannot overstate that the power of this channel. And I did make, actually first I want to show you the source where I get the information from, and then I will give you a little synopsis. Okay, where are you here? This is from Human Design Tools, humandesign.tools. It is a fabulous website for all of you who are like to learn more about human design. And this is the channel 3536, Transitoriness. So this is the channel which links the solar plexus to the throat center. From the emotional center into our manifestation center. So it is literally the gate which is allowing emotional manifestations. We manifest from our emotions through this channel by experiencing the crisis. We're pressed with our face into it almost. It's really true. It happens for everyone. Also for the collective history, the same thing, that our misdeeds, our whatever we still have not resolved, guilt, anger, you name it, all these things are popping really into the field of awareness for everyone on the whole planet, also on a collective level. Just to illustrate this, I think this is a great example of what I mean. So this is on Piers Morgan's YouTube channel. Why the fuck are you laughing? This journalist here, she was caught laughing at that terrible act of killing a human being. I mean, this is really where it goes down to, that whole idea that revenge has to be taken, that we have to kill others because they did something to us which we do not like. So it is that whole concept of collective programming, of being violent, which is coming into the public collective eye. She has lost her job naturally, which is certainly the right thing to do. She definitely overstepped the line. However, this show is bringing light onto that, and I guess the whole story is gaining lots and lots of momentum in general. It is a part of what is going on right now. All these hidden emotions are brought into the light, and no wonder that it is the black moon which is representative of the shadow, is in hexagram 57, which is clarity, which is the wind above, the wind below, when things are brought into a clear perspective, with Vesta being here, which is the literally the mission. It is what we are here for. It is a spiritual spark, you could say. That's what Vesta represents. It can, in its extreme form, be fanatism, naturally, and that that belief that you have to serve an ideology or things like that. That is part of it too. Now, the shadow gets right now full limelight from Chiron, the wounded healer. So literally, this is what Chiron is good at. It really exposes the wounds, brings them into our eyesight, our recognition, and with the black moon here opposing actually Chiron exactly on the 18th of December, which is within hours of the galactic centers, of the sun's alignment of the galactic center, I should say. We're getting to that chart. This is a super important moment, a realignment to higher principles, higher dimensions, galactic truth, if you could say. That is what the galactic center, the central sun, that's another name often heard on the net. That's that one powerful spot at the hub of the Milky Way. All the stars we see in our night sky belong to the Milky Way. All of them are circling around that hub. That's so centrally important, that 28th degree of Sagittarius. We will get to that. As I said, this is still a few days away. I have many projects. I hope I get that recorded for sure. So anyway, we have activated this channel on December the 2nd with Jupiter entering 35. Neptune already had been entering 36 and warming it up a few weeks ago. Maybe not even that long, but a while ago, when it by retrogression crossed the 28:15 mark again. For those of you who like to see the picture once more of the come on, too many things here happening. This is 36. This is 35. Now, the human design system is a very complex transmission of how these different systems are interlinked and really give us a multidimensional view, much deeper than astrology alone. A wonderful, wonderful addition. Now, yes, you see a few more things. Let's just focus in. Actually, first, I'm jumping around again, as I often do. But first, I want to give you some more of these keywords here of transitoriness. Solar plexus with the throat center, linking the gate of crisis to the gate of change, emotional manifesting, that is, which defies logic's caution and restrictive patterns. Yes, they are overridden, you could say, because we are touched emotionally on very deep chords, and this will allow us to literally override all the mental programming, brainwashing, eventually bring that into bypass it almost. I'm always remembering that wonderful documentary I Am by Tom Shadyac, where he shows, for example, he shows that basically human nature is goodness. We all are heart-centered beings. It is just that intentional programming of our very receptive mind, which is used to override and overshadow that emotional power emanation which comes from our hearts. So the more we shift into our heart, and there are events which can trigger that, like catastrophic events. 9/11 is a wonderful example in that context, and when I say wonderful, just listen to what I want to say. It made people help each other regardless of race, of belief, of attitudes. That's really what happens when you are put into a situation of extremes, of disaster, of calamity. It brings out the best in us, and that's exactly one way this channel will manifest. It's the restless desire to explore the depth and the capacity to feel and to experience emotion. That's all here written in this paragraph. It's really a good paragraph. I put a link. You can read the whole thing. Just a couple more lines from here. It's the drive to seek experiences which promise something new and better in life. We need that collectively, and that is happening between December 2nd and April the 4th. For that whole 5-month period, this, or 4 months, whatever it is, and this energy is accessible to each and every one. And there's one window where Jupiter will shift into the hexagram prior, that is during its station, and that will be the most intense. That will be between January 27th and April and February the 11th. January 27th till February 11th. That, as I said before, this will be the core window of culmination of this chaotic breakthrough we are experiencing right now, where everyone is pushed to the limits in some way or other. This is, we're definitely in uncharted territory. There's no question of that. I guess we all know that. So, yes, I let you read this whole paragraph yourself. Now I want to give you a bit more astrology, just once more illustrating how tomorrow, or on the 15th full moon, will truly bring to the surface this Jupiter energy in change, the need for change. It is the sun rising over the earth. That is the symbol in the I Ching. For those of you who have the book of I Ching, please read it. It shows you how Jupiter is working through all these months into early April. And Neptune here in the crisis hexagram 36, darkening of the light, is definitely representing this crisis of confusion, of disorientation. And it is when there will be actually a very interesting handshake happening between the lunar nodes and Neptune. Neptune will actually has stationed just a few days ago and is now moving forward again, versus the node which moves backwards. They will meet still in hexagram 36 on the 7th of April. That could be seen as a center point of this crisis, the upper kind of the center point of the culmination phase, I would call it. And they both will meet still in hexagram 36. So Neptune then will move on into hexagram 25, which is a completely different energy. 25 is innocent, it's new beginnings, and it is interesting that this starts in the late Pisces. It is those cardinal hexagrams, they are overlapping from mutual into cardinal, which is an interesting concept. So anybody with planets in the late degrees of the mutual signs, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo and Sag, 2815 on into 30 degrees, this is already a new energy. And again, I refer you to this. My website presently is not up. There's a problem there, but in a few days I hope that will be remedied. So then you can go there again and copy this most important picture here, which shows the overlay. And what I'm mentioning here is 25 innocence versus 36 darkening of the light. And I also have the breakdowns of degrees there on my website. Again, it will be back, I'm sure, in a few days. So this is super interesting, as the nodes actually are in hexagram 25 and 46 just since a few days, actually, since December the 4th, and will be in here till till February 7, till till January 30th. So long the nodes are in these cardinal degrees 25, here again 352.30 is the cutoff point here. The nodes move backwards now through hexagram 25, innocence, and the south node rising upwards. That is the seed breaking through the ground, that final part of Virgo and the first degrees of Libra. It's a breaking through the ground. It's literally, it's very similar in a way to the energy Jupiter has right now. As I said, hexagram 35, the sun rising above Earth. So it is, on multiple levels, there is this symbology of something being on the rise which cannot be stopped, and literally it is the rise of frequency. That's probably the easiest to say, because so many more people are starting to tune into their hearts, are understanding that this is all we have to do and we can do to bring upon change. It is bringing into this physical universe that frequency of divine love, of divine presence, which is all around us. It's the structure of the quantum vacuum, you could say. It is sacred geometry. On so many levels you can understand different expressions of it. So that's why living in our bodies is super, super important. That's another way to really live in the now. The more you're rooted in your body, the more you're feeling yourself, your heartbeat, your body's temperature, your breath, the fabric you're wearing on your skin, all of that, the wind in your hair, the sunshine. Naturally, if we're out in nature, then we are more prone to really tune into our bodies. And the more we live in our body, the more we can really pull that unconditional love into our system, bringing it in and nourishing our hearts, and through that we naturally, easily to be understood, magnify amplify our own emanations. Each one of us is a transmitter, a very strong transmitter, and we can generate that field and build it to a place where everyone will be affected by it, and that's how we push the lower frequency band out of this existence. Literally, we're closing the foothold, we're sealing this frequency band off from the lower realities. That's why there will be new Earth. This is on the horizon. But yes, first we have to go through the thick end. The show won't be over before the fat lady sings, as they say. And all points naturally to Mars, who turned retrograde just a couple days later on the 6th. So it has been a loaded first 12 days in this month of December. Really, the energy has been built up now. Retrograde Mars. Let's stay a moment with that. Excuse me. The beautiful thing about that is Mars is very bright in the sky through the next 2 months or so. 2-3 months. This is that bright red star in the middle of the sky almost now. Venus is also very prominent, by the way. The two stars, planets of creation, of manifesting biological life and life forms, all of that. Our neighboring planets, Venus as being the evening star, beautifully bright also into February the whole time, while Mars will be a little bit more to the west right now still. But Mars, actually, it is still quite a bit behind. So when the sun sets, you see, then Mars would be somewhere. No, I'm saying it wrong. It is when the sun is okay. One can see Mars before sunrise now, and this will change more and more close to midnight towards January. But what I want to say, Mars being so bright naturally has a stronger influence than usual on us, because everything which is more close to us, more present, more showing up, naturally would mean it expresses a bit more directly too. And usually also the Mars retrograde period is a time of reconstruction, of overhauling, renovation, redefining how we use our sacred masculine powers. And in Leo, naturally, this is probably the best sign it could be in. On the New World's North Node, the July 4, 1776 date has its North Node. It's evolutionary target in exactly this degree, which is actually opposite where Venus and Mars met last time at 657 in Aquarius. That was, you can go back to my archive, I made a recording about this, which was the child born out of an egg. That was really the beginning of that we started seeing something new is really unavoidable. It's already here. It just has to be still nurtured and cared for to grow strong enough. And this Mars retrograde now picks up on this energy of that latest Mars-Venus conjunction and brings this to a more greater recognition, that whole theme, and naturally everything that is kind of not quite right about how Mars expresses in this world is brought to the forefront to be closer examined. Naturally, the shadow of Mars, you could say, is war, and it is violence. It is that collective programming we have been put under, that this has to be tolerated, that this is a way we humans express ourselves. No, not all of that is not true. This is all conditioning overriding that natural sense of being connected and in resonance with everything around us, every other human being. So you see, it all goes in the same direction. The faster we can transform this Martian male energy into the sacred masculine, which it should be, which has the power to say no, to draw a line, to know where the limits are, and to take on authority. And it is, interestingly enough, hexagram 31, which is ruling in these early degrees of Leo, which is the natural gift of being an authority, of being able to hold that power of influence, of being a model in that sense, and being in a leadership position. So Mars already is in this place. So yeah, I mean, there's so much going on right now, which gives us the finer print. You see, Saturn was pretty dead on exact squaring Mercury here. There's many of these Saturn-Mercury connections, squares to Saturn, which are in all these present charts dominant, which means sobriety and the ability to recognize patterns. That's actually one thing I wanted here to mention here, but with the full moon. I'm still here with the full moon for a minute, because this is full moon is always kind of the brightest moment in the month, when the energy is at its max, so to say. And we have Pallas rising here. Pallas is the one which is able to see patterns, to connect the dots, to study, to research, to bring one's mental focus into something and analyze it. And that brings me back to this chart just a few days earlier, because here it is more exact. A structure which is again on for quite a while are these green lines from Saturn to Uranus, a quintile, 72 degrees, another quintile to Mars, and another quintile to the black moon and Vesta here, and the empty spot here is the first degree of Capricorn. Again, that cardinal Capricorn energy. Actually, this is hexagram 10, then treading, which gives the awareness to act in the exact right way, to be in balance with the greater picture. There's a strong sense of doing the right thing, one could say. It comes natural. That is those early degrees of Capricorn. So this is a harsh energy. Mars, Uranus, the dark moon, and Saturn. This is really that whole theme we were just talking about, of organized murder, crime, cruelty, brought into this quintile structure, which is dynamic, super dynamic. The number 5, which is what these angles are, 1/5 of the circle. The number 5 is super dynamic. It's the combination of the 3 and the 2 of the male and the female, if you want, which gives birth to something new. So that's why quintile aspects in our charts, personally as well as collectively, always hint at great creative potentials. So this is yet another stone in this picture, this mosaic. Again, for that whole time with Jupiter in activating that gate of change, 35. This is at the birth of this energy having been activated. Very, very promising. Okay, there's another one which is also really standing out, which is Nessus. Nessus 1659 was actually exactly square Jupiter, and Nessus is opposing Orcus here. Now, Nessus is pathological behavior, in a nutshell spoken. Pathological behavior expressing through Pisces, through some deeply emotional and kind of roundabout way of collective guilt and heaviness. So this is a very difficult position, and it is balanced by Orcus, which is one of the gods of the underworld, in the same family as Pluto. Actually, Pluto and Orcus, they are making kind of like butterfly wings if we look at their orbits around the sun. Very interesting. So Orcus is kind of the feminine side of Pluto, which is transmutation, transformation on a very, very deep emotional level too. It's a healing, and actually these two were in opposition since 2017 for 17 times. The 17th time is just coming up on January the 2nd. It will be the peak of this opposition was in the year 2020, 2021, 2022. We all know what happened then. That was really bringing that Nessus into its full exposure with what we went through collectively, and at the same time it was received and is being still transformed, transmuted by Orcus. Now Jupiter fueling in here. I mean, this, what's going on in astrology is just so astonishingly strong, giving us the message that some great transformation is underway. Some really great transformation with Pherois here on the south node. Pherois is the mother bear's instinct to protect its cubs. The south node, that's our resource. We are really tapping into this motherly instinct of doing the right thing. And as you know, a mother, when it comes to that extreme situation, she will not think, she will just throw herself into the situation, and no real first assessment of consequences. You just do what feels right. That's kind of where this goes to. Okay, let's look at the Sabian symbols of this 2352, where the moon was at that time on December the 2nd, and where in a couple days the sun will be 2352. That's a 24th degree of Sagittarius, which is a bluebird perched on the gate of a cottage. That's again the Sabian symbols according to Dane Rudyard's translation. This is a reward which meets every effort at integration into a social environment for those who remain true to their own selves. The bluebird is a well-known symbol of happiness, but also refers to what one might call a spiritually oriented mind, to which the color blue relates, especially when a bird is mentioned. Bird always stands for spirit. A cottage is normally part of a community, and the implication is that its inhabitants are well adapted either to the life of the community or to their more or less isolated togetherness. And the keyword is good fortune. Beautiful degree. And now let's read the moon's degree, which is equally beautiful. It's always that polarity which is a complementation of two energies bringing each other in balance. That's how we have to read it. It's always finding the golden means, the balance between those opposing degrees. And naturally at full moon this is most strongly pronounced. The 24th Gemini is children skating over a frozen village pond. The use of inhibiting circumstances for the development of character and the transcendental approach to the environment. Well, winter symbolizes darkness and restrictions imposed upon living things by cold. We are in a winter, in a real winter in that sense. Natural life is in a state of hibernation or inward-turned activity. Yet the developing mind can learn to use restrictions and the disciplining power of cold, external responses to rise above the outer freeze and to grow the strengths and skills. Get the picture? On one hand, we have this good fortune. On the other hand, we have that ability to turn a difficult situation into our favor, to make it literally to get the best out of it. So this is super promising. We're moving really, that these last few weeks of this year will be fabulous in terms of insight, advance. Yes, it won't be easy, and there's a lot of integration which we have to allow to happen, and sometimes this means confrontation and re-evaluation and real looking at what comes up in our memories, in our lives, what situations we attract, which we need to reflect upon. Beautiful also that Juno is highlighted here at the 10th house cusp in both charts. You see, pretty similar. Juno is partnership, teamwork, helping each other. Many pillars it needs to hold a big roof. That's how we build something huge, when we truly streamline our energies, work together, help each other, support each other. Astrea, overall this is a very powerful conjunction as such of the two asteroids. Asteroids give us the roles of what we are meant to represent in this world. They're linking the inner sphere of personal planets with the outer sphere of collective, of social collective transpersonal energies. The asteroid belt brings in all these roles we play, which give us the chance to bring our personal energy into the collective. Juno is through just bonding with each other, doing things together, and Estrella is the one who is coming in and cleaning up despite of the difficulty. She's the goddess who stayed on Earth the longest after things had deteriorated. All the others had escaped already long before, said no, we cannot live in such a disaster. She stayed, she took the difficult challenge and succeeded. That's where we are getting to. In both charts you see Scorpio at midheaven naturally and Capricorn rising. Again, emphasizing that Saturn energy of sobering and also really understanding in Pisces that collective pain, I would say, which really is rising to the surface in this present time. I mean, the change takes time. I really want to emphasize that. Don't expect some out from one moment to the next, from Monday to the next resolution of where we are. But we will have huge breakthroughs, as I say, at the end of this Mars retrograde period, January 27th to February 23rd, roughly in that month. It will be enormous breakthroughs which will be made, and still we are coming to an end of a huge cycle. Saturn and Neptune will eventually here meet in early Aries. I just want to tell you once more, I don't have it in mind, but it is in May 2025. Actually, it goes faster than I first thought. Neptune changes into Aries on the last day of March. And for Saturn, it is the 26th of May. Yes, so it is in spring already. This will be an enormous shift we are experiencing in general when these two planets, these two large planets, move simultaneously pretty much into the sign of new beginnings, new imagination, new worlds are created. And right now, with the lunar node in these first initial degrees of the cardinal signs, we are laying the foundation for that to happen. We are literally now putting the seeds into the ground, which will sprout when Neptune end of March and Saturn end of May will fully come to express themselves through this new beginnings energy. Right now we are planting the seeds, we are working through the last obstacles, literally. Let me see what else I had in mind here before we call it a day here. I guess that's the most important. Yes, through crisis to change. Setting the stage. That's what we're at. Thanks for joining, listening, and I will give you some more background of how these energies build up into the 18th of December, 21st of December, the two big days, Sun aligning galactic center on the 18th, and then the Sun entering Capricorn really starting a whole new natural year at winter solstice. These are two powerful moments and they have very similar energy. Again, you will see it's a very Saturnian imprint, first of all, which, yes, is the sobriety, but also to lay structures, foundations for something way bigger than we at this moment in time can even imagine. Thank you for being here and listening, and talk to you soon. Love you all. Bye bye.